everyone, welcome back to today's video where we're going to discuss a lot of updates about traveling into Australia. Yes, Australian government has lifted the travel ban and they are going to allow international students to come into Australia. So my previous video, I spoke about what is the update about international students and they are allowed to come into Australia. Different states have different requirements. So for example, ACT, they have said there's no need for quarantine. South Australia, there is a specialized facility where you can quarantine or you can travel quarantine free. So the recommendation from the Australian government and the university is you have to be fully vaccinated. It's preferred to be fully vaccinated and have an evidence. So there are list of vaccines that Australia has approved. I'm going to leave description in the link. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. And you can check whether the vaccine that you have is accepted in Australia. So the TGA has approved and registered few vaccines that can be, the people who have taken those vaccines can be allowed into Australia. So check that link and see whether you've taken the vaccine. They've also given conditions which says you're fully vaccinated, meaning except Johnson & Johnson, the other 6 vaccines that TGA has recommended, you should have at least 2 doses in interval of 14 days in between. And the second dose, after taking the second dose, you should have a minimum 7-day period before you can enter into Australia. You can't just enter after you have your jab straight onto your flight. You can't hop onto a flight straight away or the next day. So you need to have 7 days in between. So I'm going to leave those links. You can check them. And the other important criteria that I want to tell you all is please stay updated with the travel advice. Your aunt might have a different advice. Your friend might have a different advice. Things that you see on Facebook and YouTube, every YouTuber is going to give you a different set of advice. So do not trust any of them, including me. So look at the government travel website, Home Affairs website. Look at specific state government website. It's going to take 5 to 10 minutes of your time, but it's going to save you heaps of time and stress when you get into the airport without being well prepared. So what do I mean by being well prepared before you come into Australia? First, when you have fully vaccinated, you need to have your vaccine certificate issued by your particular country with your full name, date of birth given. These 2 are very, very crucial because I understand few countries do not give you your passport details and that's totally fine. They don't expect to have your passport numbers there. As long as you have it authorized with some of your national ID document with the exact name on the passport and your date of birth, it should be fine. And the second important thing is knowing the specific state's quarantine requirement at the time of travel. So today, Queensland can have some advice. They might change it the next Friday. And if you're traveling the next Friday, that advice would stand. So visit every state government's website to see the travel advice. The third thing would be to get an entry permit or a cross-border travel form. Every state calls it differently. Basically, it's an exemption form that you fill in from where you're coming, from where you're going. Where were you in the past 14 days and where will you be in 2 weeks when you come here? And all those basic information about you, about your travel plans. And it's basically to check you've never been into a red zone or an affected zone just before you travel, so you're not bringing the virus along with you free of cost. So that's the whole purpose. So even if they say that's not required, it's going to take 5 minutes, fill that form, print it out and have it with you because you will definitely know which state you're going to enter all the way from whichever country you're going to enter from. And the fourth thing that I would recommend you to do is have a negative PCR test. I'm sure it's not me recommending, the airlines would recommend you to do that. Before 48 hours or 72 hours, depending on your travel, you might have to have a negative PCR test result before you board the flight. And once you come here, every state might have a different set of advice once you receive here. So these 4 things are really, really crucial before you come into Australia. Make sure to follow them. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments below and I'm happy to address. And if you need specific links to refer to a particular state government's website or the central government's website, let me know and I'm happy to provide them for you because that is more authentic. that is more reliable compared to other YouTube and other Facebook resources. Okay, I'll see you all in the next video.